Yeah. Hi, everyone. Greetings from National Skills Network. This is Madhuri, and today we are going to speak to a very senior person from the industry, and he's also contributed immensely to skill development, particularly to the trainers training and development in the skilling ecosystem. So we have with us Mr. K. Ramakrishnan, who's the Chief Executive of the L&T Skill Training Mission, which he has taken over after his retirement, and he's continuing to be actively involved in improving the quality of trainers in the vocational education and skilling ecosystem through the L&T Skill Trainers Academy. So welcome to this talk, sir. We would like to know, yeah, we would like to know more from you about the L&T Skill Trainers Academy. And before that, from NSN, please accept our congratulations on completing the training of 1,000 vocational trainers very recently. That's a big milestone after launching the academy, since we are following it very closely ever since I think the launch happened about 2+ years ago, right?
Yes, it happened on 13th March 2021.
Okay, so please tell us more about this milestone, sir, and also about the kind of training that you're doing for the trainers to improve them holistically, and also making trainers' job a very aspirational job.
Okay, so Madhuri, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And let me begin by just going back to the motivation behind our setting up this L&T Skill Trainer Academy. When Mr. Nayak took over as chairman of National Skill Development Corporation in the late 2018, that was in November 2018, and he took me and a few other colleagues on board to help him with that role. One of the first things he pointed out was that the skilling ecosystem in this country has a problem with respect to the lack of good quality trainers. And he said that we from L&T should do something to fill that gap. And therefore, he guided us, motivated us to set up the L&T Skill Trainers Academy at Mud Island in Mumbai. And I must mention here that it was Mr. Nayak's vision, his motivation, his planning of the entire project, from selection of the location to the design of the training academy, to insisting on it being a residential program so that it becomes like a Gurukul, and to ensure that we have the best quality training imparted to the trainers. So the entire campus design, the academy setup, the hostel facilities, everything was, in a way guided by Mr. Nayak's vision and direction. And we owe a lot to him for enabling us to set up this institute, which has now become made a name for itself in the area of training of trainers in the skilling ecosystem. So the objective was to train the trainers, and we felt that there weren't many institutes which were focused only on training of trainers. And so we set this up. In fact, this was a factory that where we used to manufacture about 50, 60 years back drilling equipment. Then it became a switchgear manufacturing factory. Then that manufacturing stopped because of logistic reasons. And then we had a part of this factory was used as a technical training center for our own engineers. And there were 2-3 unused sheds, which we converted into the academy and the hostel. So we have converted what was an erstwhile factory into the L&T Skill Trainers Academy.
Yeah, that's so nice to hear, sir. And also coming from Mr. Nayak, an industry veteran and also highly revered for his contributions in skilling, I'm sure this has a huge vision going ahead also. And we from NSN feel that if we can share this message with a larger audience so that they also get benefited by the academy, it would be really great. So I have seen the pictures, I've watched the video, and also I saw the lovely location. I think that also contributes to making this entire experience of trainer development very aspirational. So they go back, very, I would say, rejuvenated, or they feel good about their job. So in this context, how do you define holistic training? Like, you have platform skills, you have technical skills, you have, what do you say, pedagogy plus the particular domain in which they're supposed to be trained. So what else are included in this?
So when we conceptualized the Skill Trainers Academy, as I mentioned earlier, inspired and motivated by Mr. Nayak, we went about, after designing the academy, the hostel, and getting it constructed, we took advantage of the curriculum that had been designed by Singapore Polytechnic along with NSDC for a 10-day training of trainer program. That was our basis to begin with. We also realized that we will have to make the training holistic. And therefore, apart from the platform skills that are covered in the Singapore Polytechnic curriculum, we added domain skills, soft skills, and life skills. And the enabling factor for doing all this was the fact that our programs are only residential. So people who come for this program stay in the campus. So they start their day with yoga at 6 a.m. Then 9 to 5, you have the classroom, which could be platform skills or domain skills. And beyond 6, we have other programs like team building, communication, etc., which are part of the soft skill and the life skill category of a trainer's skilling requirements.
So that's, I think, a very nice retreat for them also, because they are moving out of their work situation and not only getting trained, and also, like you said, the holistic kind of aspect which is built into it. So how long does this program, what is the duration? And also, do you customize it if required for any organization that needs to avail this facility?
Yeah. So Madhuri, as I mentioned, we started with a 10-day program, and our initial focus was on the various training partners and training centers from where the trainers would come through the respective sector skill councils. And that was originally designed as a 10-day program. Unfortunately, the time we started, COVID struck, and the training centers were not being used. So there was not enough demand coming from the NSDC ecosystem of skill training, which is the short-term skill training. So we approached the government of Maharashtra, Department of Vocational Education and Training, and they saw value in what we were trying to do. And therefore, we designed a 5-day program for them. Subsequently, we got a request from government of MP, and we designed a 15-day training program for them. In fact, the government of Maharashtra, DVET, the feedback has been the participants are saying that these 5 days are not enough. And it is like, ye dil mange more. They have been asking for more time because they feel there is a lot of value add in the program. So hopefully in the next few months, we will have an 8-day program for the Maharashtra DVET, and we'll continue with the 15-day program for the MP. So to answer your question, we do customize the program in line with the requirement of the government and the ability of the government departments to spare their trainers. Ideally, we feel that a minimum of 10 to 15 days is required for this sort of a training to make it complete as we desire.
Yeah. So since you mentioned not the short-term skilling, but the long-term, so I understand it's mostly ITI instructors, right, at present. So is it open to others also, sir, who are from the vocational system? Like they could be trainers who are offering, training programs, or let's say maybe, curriculum which could be a part of BVOC degree or any of these, because I feel they should also get exposed to, this kind of a setup. So are you open to them as well?
So Madhuri, before I answer that question, there's one aspect I wanted to cover, and which you mentioned in your opening remarks. And that is one of the efforts that we make here is to make the trainer feel that he's not just a trainer. He is not just a guru. He is a margdarshak who takes the youth from darkness to enlightenment, from joblessness to getting a job, and who contributes to making their life more meaningful. these resources who are trained by these trainers actually go into doing work which ultimately builds the nation. So we imbibe in them the feeling that you are not just training trainees, you are training nation builders. So you are an important contributor to the nation building efforts in this country. And therefore, we make them feel proud, motivated, and enthused by what they are doing. So that is one very important focus, and that is one of the takeaways that the trainers who come here express at the end of the training program when we ask them for the feedback. So that is one part. The second is we are open. Our focus is only to train trainers, and there is no restriction. But we would be able to do in batches which make sense. So we need a batch of, for a classroom, we limit the batch to 20 to 24 trainers. So if we could get a batch size of that, we are fine with it. Okay. Currently, we are having 2 batches of Madhya Pradesh skill development program and 1 batch from Goa ITIs who have just started the training today. One is a 5-day program, other is a 15-day program. So it is customized and we could address the needs of any group of trainers. We have also done training program for some NGOs. There's an NGO called LEAP, which is the Association of Women Entrepreneurs in Andhra Pradesh. Yeah. For their training center, we conducted an online training program during the COVID period. Okay. So to answer your question, we are open as long as it is training of trainers and assessors.
Okay, that's really nice. And also, I would like to reiterate the importance of sense of pride, which you just mentioned about, being in this profession. I think that's very essential. One, because of the entire conception of skilling and the perception of skilling, I would say, which is still looked down upon, and we need to do a lot to make it aspirational. And I think the trainer feeling that he or she is doing something great and instills a sense of pride in that profession, I'm sure is going to contribute a lot to this domain. So is this like a completely paid training for these participants? Does the organization pay for them, or is there any other model that you have to help them attend these programs?
Yeah. Good question, Madhuri. We believe that any good program has to have an element of payment, because then it brings into the focus the seriousness, the commitment of the participant. So we have a nominal charge for the training program, and the trainer who gets trained pays for it. But in most of the cases, almost 100% cases, the institute to which he belongs or the training center to which he belongs make the payment. Now, this income that we get is not enough to meet our expenses.
Right.
So because as I said, we charge them a nominal amount and our expenses are more. The deficit of the expense and income gap, the deficit that is between the income that we get and the expenses that we incur, is met by the corporate social responsibility contribution from Larsen.
Okay. And also, I understand that you cater to different domains, not just construction or infra related. So what are the areas where the domain skills are imparted, sir, at this point in time?
Yeah. So the areas where we focus on from a domain perspective are manufacturing. So you have welder, you have fitter, you have fabricator, you have electrician, you have electronics, mechanic, you have mechatronics. Then from the IT side, we have COPA and ITES. Okay. Then construction side, we have mason, barbender, plumber. Again, electrician also forms a part of the construction trade. Then we have also gone beyond the traditional, what we consider as manufacturing or construction. We have even done programs for trainers from the cosmetology batch. Okay. And there what we have done is we have collaborated with leading beauty parlors in Bombay to give the domain training. So our spread is quite large and we cater to whichever domain that is required. Obviously, our strength is in manufacturing and construction and IT, but we don't mind going to other areas also by collaborating with the right organizations for that particular program.
Yeah, that's so nice to hear, sir. You are open to many more domains, and I think we need that kind of expertise from L&T to collaborate and contribute to the evolving ecosystem. So most of our audience would also be trainers and people who are interested into entering into this domain. So what would be your advice to people who want to become a trainer in the vocational or the skilling segment?
Okay, so my my advice to them would be that, as I mentioned a little earlier, that as a trainer, they are not just a teacher; they are people who are guiding the youth for a future, for a better future. So it's a very noble task that they are performing, and they have to imbibe the domain knowledge, the platform skills, the life skills, the soft skills, which will make them a good trainer. What is a good trainer? A good trainer is one who can deliver a domain topic well. A good trainer is one who listens. A good trainer is one who has empathy. A good trainer is one who looks at the student from a life cycle perspective. Not just that he comes to the class and goes, but what am I teaching him that will enable him to make a better future? How can I help him stand on his own? How can I help him get employment or become an entrepreneur? So a trainer needs to look at this bigger picture with respect to his student. And we want to tell trainers that the need of the hour for this country is, we want to make India a manufacturing giant in the world, a place where all over the world people would want to come, as they would be prone to go to China in the past. They have to now come to India because we are the emerging power. And their role will be very significant in making this happen. And the opportunities are many, and the opportunity is not only to make a professional career, but also to contribute something meaningfully for the progress of this great nation.
So that's a wonderful definition and role that you have just shared with us, which is very aspirational for the trainer. So before I close, one point which I would like to know more from you is, how do organizations partner you? What is the reach? I'm asking you this also because, as you are aware, the new education policy which is being implemented, NEP 2020, has a lot of scope for integrating vocational education with the mainstream or the general education. So in the backdrop of that, we see a lot of new things coming up where people might want to associate with you, for their training requirements. I mean, trainer development or training of trainer requirements, or, some such thing where they want to really do capacity building, and also see to it that we are the, leaders in human capital development. So what do you have to say on this? How would you want to partner them?
Madhuri, we are very open, and we are aware that the NEP 2020 has an element of skill training from class 6. And we also envisage that there will be a need of skilling the trainers who will be involved in the school ecosystem also. And we are very open to it. And we have started talking to a few organizations. In fact, a few such organizations have been also meeting us, seeing the facility, and we are open. So whatever is, as I said, we are open to having tailor-made curriculum. We are open to making curriculum that will suit the need of that particular training institute, be it a school or an ITI or a private training center. So we are very excited about playing a role in the NEP 2020 also. So as and when we get interested parties meeting us, we are very open to discussing with them, designing the curriculum, designing the duration, and making a success of that training module.
Well, great, sir. Thank you so much. Is there anything you wish to share, sir, before we close this conversation?
So I just wanted to share the thought that, the message that we need to keep in mind is that, we are all fortunate to be born as human beings. The second thing is, we are all fortunate to have been born in a country like India.
Right.
Third thing is, COVID has taught us that life is very unpredictable, that we need to live our lives in a wholesome manner for as long as we are in this earth. So therefore, keeping these things in mind, we need to do whatever we can that will create an impact, that will give back to society, because we have got a lot from nature. We have got a lot in life. So I want people to keep that in mind and try to do in whatever way they can. And from a skill building perspective, I think it is a good opportunity for people to give back to society by participating in whatever way they can in the journey of skill building and making India the skill capital of the world.
Thank you, sir. These are really inspirational words, and I'm carrying back with them with, a lot of respect and regard for all the work that's happening at L&T Trainers Academy. Thank you so much for giving us your time. And we would be happy to be in touch with you to receive regular updates as well.
Sure. We'd love to do that. Thank you, Madhuri.
Thank you,
Have a
sir.
good day. Bye.
Thank you.